I've got the April 2022 market update. Let's dive right in. Welcome to Jerome in Real Estate. I'm Jerome, your local realtor here in the Fountain and Colorado Springs area. Let's get into this April monthly market update. So listen, I'm going to start off with Fountain because that's my local area. That's where I live. That's where I want to focus on a little bit, right? Even though it's a smaller area. But let's get right into it. Okay, so new listings in Fountain for the month of April. There were 88 of them. That's not too different from what we saw last year in April. Last year was 89. Same old, right? So this year in April, as far as sold listings, the homes that sold single family, 71. Still not that big of a change. Last year it was 75. All right, here is where we had a large difference. Okay, this is April's median sales price. This year, 450,000, right? You compare that to last year, 2021, same time frame in April, 375,000 is what it was. Okay. Same thing with the average sales price, a huge jump. Average sales price this year, April, 454,935. Last year, April, 373,490. That is a percent difference of 21.8%. Huge jump, okay? Percent of list price received, that's 104.4%, right? So this is telling you that it was 104% of what the list price was, which means that, it's still a seller's market. The average days on market until the sale, it dropped down to 5. Okay, last year, April, it was 10 days. Now for Colorado Springs, what do we have? This year, April, new listings, 1,340. Last year, it was 1,282. Sold listings, a little bit of a drop. This year, 1,017. Last year was 1,023. And here's that large change again that we were talking about with the city of Fountain here in Colorado Springs. April 2022, the median sales price, 483,750. Last year, it was 419,500. The average sales price, 556,565. And then last year it was 475,475. Now, it is important to note that the percentage change you see in the city of Fountain was actually higher than the percentage change that you're seeing in Colorado Springs. Average sales price percentage change was 17.1%. Okay, Fountain's, it was actually 21.8%. All right, so Fountain actually crushed it. Let's get back to the rest of the Colorado Springs stats. Now, the percent of list price received, basically the same. It was 104.6%. That roughly stayed the same year on year. And the days on market until sale moved up a little bit. Colorado Springs moved to 11 days on market. Last year it was 9. That's 22%. But with small numbers like that, you got to take that with a grain of salt. All right, so for El Paso County, I'm just going to go over a couple of these stats, the major ones. So I want to talk about the median sales price and the average sales price. Average sales price, 563,746. Last year, it was 480,141. That's a jump of 17.4. So overall, in El Paso County, Fountain is actually doing really well as far as appreciation. Now, I know, really well that's going to be a relative phrase right now. For buyers, we're not really liking that. But it kind of shows you which little pockets, which cities are appreciating still. And which cities have the most room for growth. Okay. All right. I think it's also important to note how many days of inventory we have in this particular area. So in Fountain, we actually have only about 15 days of inventory on the market. And what that means is if nothing else was put on the market, no more listings, and right, so no one else was able to put anything else on the market, the current listings would be just swallowed up, taken off the market or bought within 15 days. That's what that means. Okay. Now, overall in El Paso County, we've got right around 21 days of inventory left on the market. Okay. So once again, you can see where the tide is going as far as, which cities. I believe Colorado Springs was at right around the 21-day mark as well, right around 20 days. Let me check here just to be certain. But it is important to understand that. Okay, yeah, so it was right around like 20 days or so. Now, what is all this data, all this stats, what does it really mean for the industry, the real estate industry? And, I just posted a video that sort of went through the cooling off sentiment that I and some of the other real estate professionals have been sensing, that the market is starting to cool off, right? The rising mortgage rates are starting to become an issue. Buyers are feeling buyer fatigue, okay? Now, does this market data that I just went over actually support that sentiment? Not so much, right? But what you have to remember is that all the market data is usually lagging by quite a bit. Real estate is slow by nature. It may not seem so at first. Mortgage rates can climb, 2-3% and since the beginning of the year, and that doesn't seem very slow. But the indicators are lagging though. Okay, so what industry professionals can just naturally feel by being out there in the open houses, being out there talking to buyers all the time, speaking with sellers who have their homes on the market a little bit longer, we definitely do feel a little bit of a cooling off. We were just red hot for so long that any change in that sentiment, it's palpable. You can feel it, right? Just because April's market data doesn't immediately show it, doesn't mean it's not happening. And it's definitely important to realize that the Fed met on the 3rd and the 4th. Jerome Powell did come out and speak, and they're definitely raising rates. Matter of fact, they did. So rates are once again moving up higher. So you should expect even more pain for buyers coming in the next few weeks. We're going to start seeing even a little bit more of that cooling off. They're doing whatever they can. The Fed I'm talking about, they're doing whatever they can to slow inflation and hopefully reverse it a little bit. And that does take its effect on the real estate industry. All right, that was the update for April's info. Thanks for tuning in. If you like what you see here and you don't want to miss anything weekly, go ahead and give this video a like, and then also subscribe so you don't miss anything. See you next time.